Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maverick Moses. I am a writing coach, avid reader, and author of the soon-to-be self-published YA dark urban fantasy novel Karma's Children Discovery, the first book of my Karma's Children trilogy series. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and help support my channel. I post new videos every Wednesdays with some bonus videos on Fridays, sometimes like today. So make sure if you've already subscribed that you've also hit that little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post. In today's BookTube video, I wanted to do a more fun kind of interactive style of video. Next week, I'm going to be posting my review on Melissa Frey's debut novel, The Secret of the Codex. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss that when it comes out before the book releases on the 28th. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing a BuzzFeed quiz to find out how much of a bookworm I am. The title of this quiz is Only Bookworms Have Done at least 24 out of 36 of these things. So it looks like it's kind of basically like a giant list of 36 different things, and I'm going to check off whichever ones that I have done. I'm going to be linking this quiz down below in the description, so I challenge you to pick it up yourself and let me know in the comments below how many you got. Let's get started, shall we? All right, so we have the first one here is, had a book hangover where you didn't feel ready to read a new book because you were still emotionally invested in the one you last finished. Yes. If I'm very emotionally invested in it, it could take me like upwards of a week before I open up a new book. But usually, for pretty much any book, I usually take about a day or two to like kind of absorb it. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it. Felt obliged to keep reading a book despite having found it boring. Not really. If I find it boring, I'm just not gonna keep reading. Brought a book to a party or any other social event just in case. So I've never actually brought a physical book, but I do always bring my phone, and my phone has my Kindle app on it. So if I do know in the back of my mind that if I do become really bored, I can just open up that Kindle app and start reading a book on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it. Seriously considered joining a book club. Surprisingly, I've never joined a book club. I kind of want to, but for the most part, I feel like my pace is always like totally off of what normal people are. It's like sometimes it will take me a couple weeks or a month to read a book, and then sometimes it will take me like 2 days. So maybe I kind of want to try to do a book club in the future. Maybe even like start a book club on my own and do like a Facebook group of it. So let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in doing that. Should I check it? Because I've considered it, but I haven't done it. Oh, the next question is actually joined or started a book club. Okay, so I've considered it, yes. I haven't joined or started it yet, though. So I'm not going to check that one off. Set yourself a reading target at the beginning of the year. Yes, I have. But what always ends up happening every year that I do that is I forget like a month of the way through how many that I set. I always forget to like write it down somewhere. So I set a goal, I remember at the beginning of this year, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to say yes, I set a goal, but I don't remember what it was. Exceeded your reading target before the year was over. So I don't know because I don't remember. So I'm gonna not check it off. Spent over half an hour browsing a bookshop. Definitely. Spent over an hour browsing a bookshop. Also definitely. Brought more than 2 books on a short trip. More than 2 books, so that means 3 or more? Honestly, no. I usually keep it to around like 1 or 2 books. Because that's just too much to carry. So I'm gonna say no there. Spend ages deliberating over which books to take on holiday with you. On holiday? What is this? I've never heard that term. Is that like vacation or like school break? What is holiday? On holiday with you? I guess no. I usually just take what book I'm reading currently and then like the next one on my TBR list. So I don't really spend ages debating. I still don't know what take on holiday with you means. Is that like if you're like at school and then like in a different state or a different city and then you have all your books there and then you like don't have any books at home and you're going home on your holiday? I don't know. Let's just move on. And then got in more books at the airport anyway. Yes. Yeah. I mean, when you're on layover or you're sitting there after security and you've got an hour and a half, just go and browse through the store and look at books and end up probably buying one because that's what I do. I'm a shopaholic. All right. Sniffed an old book. I haven't like snorting it back or something like that, but I've definitely I love book smells. I mean, that's one of the reasons why any book lover likes going to the bookstore. Is just like the smell of it all, and like the presence of all those books around you. So I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. Sniffed a new book. Yeah, probably. At some point in my life. I've been bitterly disappointed by the movie version of a book you like. Oh my gosh. Yes. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, anyone? It still angers me. Okay, yes, duh. Avoid watching an adaptation just so it wouldn't sully the memory of the book for you. Not really, actually. I usually like watching the movies after I've read the books. Sometimes even watch the movie and then I'm like, ooh, I really like that. I'm gonna go back and read the book because the book is probably even better. So yeah. So no, I haven't avoided watching a movie. Never mind. I thought that was like a check mark. Judge someone for organizing the books aesthetically rather than practically. I honestly can't say that I have because I kind of do it too. I mean, for the most part, it's practically. I stick similar authors together, but I also, make it look pretty. And I also have little skulls scattered around my bookshelf to add some more dark stuff to it. Anyway, yeah, so I haven't judged someone based on that. Honestly, I super admire it whenever I see those booktubers with their bookcases behind them, and it's one shelf is all blue and one shelf is all red and one shelf's all green. I'm like, damn, that now that's a book collection. So moving on. Run out of space for all of your books, of course. I mean, yeah, who doesn't? So had to stack some on the floor or wedged horizontally into any bookshelf gaps. Yes. Yeah. Dreamed of having a library at home. Yes. This is actually one of my big dreams. If I'm, ever get rich and can buy a huge house, I want one bedroom of it just dedicated to a library and have bookshelves all over the walls and so friends and family and stuff can come over and be like, ooh, I want to pick up this book and borrow it or whatever. Yeah, so definitely dreamed of having a library at home. Stayed up until 3 a.m. so you could finish a book. Yes. Also stayed up till 3 a.m. to write too, because my brain tends to just be the most active in the nighttime. So in order to help me fall asleep, or rather to keep me up from falling asleep, I do tend to work or even read until like 3 in the morning. Been so immersed reading a book on a bus or train that you've missed your stop. I haven't actually been on a train before, and the only time I was ever on a bus, I was like going to a camp out with like the Boy Scouts, so we were just going there, and then that was the only stop. There wasn't like in between stops. So I'm not going to check this because I haven't been experienced that before. Felt so disappointed by a book's ending that you've ranted about it to someone. Yeah, probably. But like, I make sure that I only rant about it to someone else that has read it before, because if they haven't read it, then like, it's not as fun ranting because they're just like, like smile and nod, smile and nod. They have no idea what you're talking about. Because I like a little bit of a debate with it too. So, so yeah, I will say that. Or looked up online to see if other people hated the ending. Yes. I've also looked up online if like the ending was really confusing, and if I like just feel like I totally missed like something else during the rest of the book, that I look up online and I'm like, what does like this ending mean? Like, where did this guy come from? So yeah. Struggled to come up with a definitive answer when someone asks you what your all-time favorite book is. So I always do, because I try to think of more current books that I've read. But when I can't think of like a current book that I've read that I really like, my go-to is just To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, because I read that back when I was in school, and that was like one of my favorite books back then. And I actually haven't read it again recently. I kind of want to pick it up again soon. But I've read that probably like 4 or 5 different times. And so that's usually like my go-to favorite book. If I can't think of something off the top of my head of more current books that I've read. So since I have a go-to, I'm not going to check that. Been moved to near tears because a character you love died. Why did they even put near in here? You could 86 the near and just say been moved to tears because a character you love died, and it would describe me. The most impactful and most emotional book that I ever read, and I still remember to this day, was The Bridge to Terabithia. I remember when Leslie died, I screamed, I cried, I had the book in my hand, I threw it across the room because I was just so angry, and I swear it took me like a week again to pick it up and keep reading because I was just so emotionally distraught by it. So yes, I have been moved to tears because the character you love died. Gotten upset towards the end of a good book because you didn't want the journey to be over. Not really, honestly, because I usually get very excited towards the end of the book because I want to see what it's like. So I'm going to not check that one. Seen someone reading a book you like in public and wanted to strike up a conversation with them about it. Definitely. But I'm also very introverted, so that never happens. Do I check it? Because I want to do it, but I've never actually done it, if that makes sense. Unless they're like sitting right next to me. Well, I guess, no, never mind. I take that back. Because one time I was on an airplane sitting next to someone, and they were reading a book that I had previously like just read. And we started talking about that a little bit. So actually, I'm gonna go ahead and check that. But most of the time, like if I see them like in a coffee shop or something like that, and they're like across the room and they're reading a book, I'm not gonna go and approach them and be like, oh, that's an awesome book. Like, what did you think about so and so and so? So, yeah. Okay, had a bookshop loyalty card. Oh, no. I want one though. Let's see, the only places that I go to in this area that I live in are Barnes & Noble and Half Price Books. There's not really any independent bookstores. There are in like downtown Austin area because it's the more like hipster vibes, but in Round Rock there's not really any, so they're just Barnes & Noble and Half Price Books, and as far as I know they don't have any loyalty cards. Correct me if I'm wrong though, because I want one. Ended up on an emotional roller coaster because the cover and blurb of a book you bought were actually very misleading. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, some covers make it look like so like intense and like fantastical, and then you read it and you're just like, oh, this is boring. And then I don't end up finishing the book like I did earlier. So yeah. Been annoyed when a book you like was re-released with an uglier cover. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I get annoyed by it. I see it and I'm just like, wow, you did a great job there, and just like my sarcasm just comes out. But for the most part, I don't really get like multiple editions of different things. So if I had the book already, if anything, I would just probably just laugh because I'd be like, huh, I got the cool cover and all these new people are getting the bad cover. Yeah, anyway, my sarcasm would come out. So no, I haven't gotten annoyed. Bought multiple editions of a book because the covers were so nice. Oh, I just mentioned this earlier. No, I haven't. I usually just stick with one book. I will say that I do tend to get like an ebook and a paperback, or ebook and a hardback, or whatever, the physical copy sometimes, because for example, I'll be like tight for money and I want to read a specific book and it's like, I don't know, $20 for the physical book, but the ebook's only like $5. So I'll buy the ebook and then I'll read it, and then once I have more money, I'm able to spend the money on the physical book, even though I've already read it on the ebook version, but I just want the physical book for my bookshelf. So I wouldn't necessarily call it because the covers were so nice. It's more of just like, well, I guess, I don't know. I'm like in between. Well, since I mentioned earlier in the question before this about being annoyed when like a new cover is released, I'm picturing it in that scenario. So I don't get a second book if like the cover changes or something like that, so I'm not going to check it. Reread the same book over and over again instead of starting a new one you bought more recently. Not really, actually, unless like I really enjoyed the book, but even then I usually don't read it one after another. Like I won't like go through the whole book, finish, and then go back to the beginning and read it again like right away. I'll usually go back to it like after a couple months, in which case like I've already read several other books, so I'm not going to check that one. Own a tote bag or badge proclaiming your love of books? Surprisingly, no, and I kind of want one now. Felt nervous lending someone a book in case it gets ruined? Yes, definitely. Especially paperbacks. Like hardbacks, like a little bit easier, but paperbacks, like they get all folded up over the edges if you're not careful. Yeah, so definitely. But liked someone 100 times more after finding out they read and enjoyed a book you recommended to them. Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, let's go ahead and let's show me my results. Alright, I checked 20 out of 36 on the list. You're kind of a bookworm. Oh, excuse me? You love a good book and would consider reading a hobby of yours, but it's not one of your main hobbies. I mean, I guess so. It's like my secondary hobby, because my main hobby is writing, because I want to write a book. So, okay, fine. Okay, fine. You read books when you can and when you're really in the mood to, but it's not a big part of your day-to-day life. That part I don't agree with. Because it is part of my day-to-day life. But, okay, well, 20 out of 36. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of my answers and how many you checked off. That concludes the end of the video. Once again, please subscribe and help support my channel, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram for more on my TBR list, as well as more about my own work in progress, Karma's Children Discovery, and really just to see some cool, aesthetically pleasing Bookstagram photos. Then go follow me on Goodreads so we can connect even more on our mutual love of books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!